Hello everyone, Marion Emberson here again with another little sort of mini masterclass using the WOW embossing powders and just showing you other ways you can use them. I've got so many different ideas to share with you, so I'm just going to do it like one stage at a time. This video that I'm doing now is going to be about enameling. I love enameling. It's just so cool. But I did just want to jump back from the previous video I'd done, the mini masterclass on the embossed pouncing technique, where I showed you these cards, just gorgeous, making these lovely skins with embossing powder. I will link to the video if you haven't seen it. I've got little bits coming off. Yeah, I'll link to the video at the end if you haven't seen it. Then this one, oh, I wasn't sure about this one. This was sort of an experiment and it turned out beautiful. I absolutely loved it. Now, I got quite a lot of people contacting me asking the same question, as in, can you, with the skins, die cut from them? And the answer is yes. So you can see on here, the background is the outline of this Catherine Paula beautiful die, and then obviously the white bit I've just used the WOW Superior Smooth White cardstock. So if I just come in really close, and I've got to try and remember the colours I used. I can't remember the colours I used. I'm really sorry. Oh no, I can remember. What did I use? Oh, I used the Be Sweet and Oasis. So this is Oasis and then this is Be Sweet, and I'm going to use Be Sweet in this video as well. But yes, you can die cut from the skins. What I would suggest is, once you've got your skin, place a piece of your baking paper, stroke parchment paper, over the skin, then put the dye on, then run it through. That way it means it's going to release it. Okay. All right, so let me just move these out the way. And this one, let me just clear up just a little bit, not a lot. I've already gone ahead and done a few bits because I'm going to be totally honest. I filmed it. I filmed the whole thing. I made all of these, filmed the whole thing. And then when I went to upload it so that I could edit it, I'd filmed it the wrong way round and I'd done it in portrait mode, and that's a no-no on YouTube. So I've got to do it again. So at least I get to play twice. So yeah, I'm going to show you this. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm just moving my chair out just so that I can see what you're seeing. But this is the enameling. So look at it. It just looks beautiful. So I just want to show you that. Then I played around with some of the 101 and Parissa on that. I might change that up this time. Then I've done some enameling through these beautiful dies, these Tim Holtz dies. I love these, absolutely love these. And I done some butterflies as well. I played around with butterflies, getting like a crackle effect. Look at that and that. And you sort of look at it and you think, oh yeah, it's actually embossing powder, but it looks like crackle paint. It's just so cool. And that actually came about purely by accident. Okay, so let me just move all this out the way. I've got my little thing there. I think I've got everything back in place, what I need. One thing I was going to say, when I'm working on chipboard, all of these actually are Sizzix dies. They're Biggs dies. So they cut this chipboard beautifully. Now, this is white chipboard. On the back, it's just the buff colour. If you can only get buff, or you want to use cereal packs, things like that, absolutely fine. You can either go ahead and white gesso over the top, or I like to use the Hero Arts pigment ink. It's called Unicorn. Absolutely brilliant, and it gives an opacity to it so that when you're using something like Oasis, and that's a translucent powder, that means the true colour is going to show through on there. Whereas if I put Oasis on here, it's just going to change completely because translucent powders will pick up what's underneath. Okay, so let me just move that out the way as well. So I am going to start, what shall I do first of all? Oh, and do you know what? Just put a little button down because I want to enamel a button as well. Let's see what that looks like. So let's go with, let's do a butterfly first of all. Let me just move these lovely hearts. I do love hearts and butterflies, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit boring when it comes to my substrates. Let's just get these little bits off. But we all have our own favourites. Okay, so move all these bits out of the way. So I'm working on a non-stick heat mat, but I also use my copier paper, or in America I think you call it scratch paper, and then I end up getting in a mess still. But I'm just in a habit of, so I can pour onto here and then pour it straight back in the pot. Okay, so let's start with this butterfly. So I'm going to use the WOW embossing pad, and I'm going to pop my butterfly in the pad, get lots of juicy ink on there, and then I'm going to use the Honeybee Bee Sweet. And we designed this along with Honeybee. Well, actually, they designed the colour. We just made it for them because it matches all their logo, etc. And there's Be Sweet, Be Kind, Be True. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Anyway, so let's just shake that off. And then I'll pop that back in the pot. Get rid of that. I'm going to do a couple of layers on this. And I always use setting number 2. Unless I'm working with vellum or something and I want it to be a bit gentler, but setting number 2 is really sort of hot and fast. And you can see I didn't press too hard in those areas, and that's fine because I'm going to do a second layer. But what I want to do is make sure this has cooled down before I put it back in my ink again. So let's get the ink pad again. That feels okay. If you put it in your ink pad and it's still hot, you're going to end up, well, you're going to end up ruining your pad because it's all going to come off and it's going to stick to your pad. So you really don't want that. If you do get bits of powder on your ink pad, just take a baby wipe and just wipe it off, and that's fine. Okay, so now we've got a second layer. It's got a few colours in it. They're all yellowy mustards, but they work beautifully. Okie dokes. So I'm just going to leave the lid off because I'm probably going to do a few layers on this. And then this time I'm going to come in, actually I don't need a big one, with the Opaque Bright White Ultra High. Now Ultra High means it's got bigger, thicker granules. Now this works with the Ebony Ultra High and the White Ultra High. I tried it with the gold. Because it's a metallic, the gold, it just doesn't work because it spreads right out and it just covers it completely. So you don't really want that. So let me just pour some of this in here. And then this has cooled down again. You can always give it a little blow. Look, I'm being fussy now. I've got a little bit of thing at the back. And I'm just gonna tap it, not so hard this time. I'm not pushing right into it. I'm just getting a little bit on there. And then I'm just gonna cover with that. And now I want to knock off loads. I want to get lots of it off. So don't be afraid to give it a good flick and get lots off. This is the trick to this. Okay, so let me just... I don't know why I poured some in the lid. That's for another technique. Okay, I'm getting carried away with myself. Okie dokes. Okay, so I'm coming in on setting number 2 again. Seriously, I love this. Absolutely love it. Let me just see what you're seeing. There we go. Look at that. It's just so gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so what you can do as well, if you overdo it with too much white, you can add another layer. You can put another layer of the Bee Sweet on, and then you can do another layer of the bright white. Which, should we do it? Let's do it. Let's do it. Make sure this is cooled down. Give it a little blow. So we want to get ink on there. So you can keep building up your layers. And it just gives such a cool effect. Even this actually looks really cool. Hang on, I've got a bit of white on here. I don't want that going back in me Bee Sweet pot. So just pour it back in, flick off your paper. So that has muted that right down now. And I like that. I really do like that. But I think I'm going to put more white on again. Bit of a stickler for white. So same thing. We want to just make sure it's cooled down. And then once it's cool... Oh, look, see, that was... just stuck my thumb in it and it weren't done. Oh dear. So if I'd have stuck that in my pad then, it would have come off onto the pad and not been great. So just a gentle little tap. Same thing, let's throw the white on again. Be firm, how you flick off, get lots off. Because they're thicker granules, they're going to spread out as they melt, and that's why we want to flick them off. And that's why this works. There's quite a few on there. We'll see. Do you know what? This is what I like about it. You can just keep building layers on it and it doesn't matter. It's all about playing. Okay. So while I'm doing this, can I just say thank you so much to all the new subscribers, and thank you to you guys that are coming back and watching this again. You're You absolutely blew me away with my last video. I really, really appreciate it. And I keep saying, sorry. Said it again. I'll try not to say it. I'd love it if you'd subscribe as well. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would subscribe. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm laughing now. I'm going to have the giggles. I'll turn the heat tool on. This reminds me of some clothing that I've got actually in this colour. It's like a piece of fabric. And oh, I've missed a little bit. Let me just, before I you and I. Is it? It's just beautiful. Oh, I'm out of shot. It's just stunning. So off camera, I'll do another one of these because I've got an idea for a card with this. Nice and simple. But that looks gorgeous. Okay, so what else can I show you on? Okay, so let's do a, you know, like we did with the Pouncing one. Sorry if you haven't seen it, but if you did, I'm going to do that again, and then I'm going to enamel over the top of it, which is a bit like, where is it? So we'll get this sort of effect, but I'm going to use different colours, I think. So these colours might not work, but we'll see. Okay, so we'll go a bit here. So this is the Be Sweet. Is it? Yep, Be Sweet. Then I'm going to put on, oops, some Honeybee. Oh, another question I got asked about in the previous video is, can they be posted? Well, you saw little bits of mine were coming off. That's because I just stuck mine down with a liquid glue from this. If you spray the back of it and then stick it down, it'll be absolutely fine. Should we put a bit of pink in there? Let's put a bit of pink robin in there. So this is like a multicolour embossing. And should we go a little bit of Chartreuse, only a little bit. Because this is going to spread out, don't forget. Okay, now if I want to lighten this down, I can take some of my opaque bright white ultra high and I can sprinkle that into it before I heat set it. Okay, so that's bringing white into there. Just going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to bring in my piece of baking paper, stroke greaseproof paper. And then I just want to make sure you're in alignment. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just applying the heat and you can see it's starting to melt. I'm just moving it all around. And then I'll start that pouncing action. So this is what we did in that other video. Okay. So if you haven't seen that other video, one thing you don't want to do while you've got your heat tool on, you don't want to do this. You don't want to hold it on there. You mustn't cover your vents and you mustn't stop the air from flowing through. So just keep pouncing. You keep lifting it up. That's it. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside just a minute. This is one of the skins that you'll get when it's cooled down, and you can, let me just move that over. I've got a bit of a gap there, so this one's probably not going to work. But then I don't throw these away because I can use these as little bits for die cutting, little hearts, little stars. But I could, oh look, see, look, broke it. But if that wasn't broke, even with that gap in there, and then look at the back side, it just looks beautiful. I love it, love it. Okay, so let me just put that aside, get rid of these bits. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my opaque bright white ultra high. Now, WL do a few colours, or a few powders I should say, that come in the ultra high and in the large jars. Not many, okay? It is better for you if you can get a large jar, if you're going to use it a lot. If you're not, stick to a 15ml jar because the powder lasts for ages. But, oh, and one thing I wanted to say, on the 1st of July, the prices are going up with WL. So just a little heads up for you there. Right, so what I'm going to do, a bit like the old technique of triple embossing. So I'm going to heat this up and get a layer of clear on there. Just throw the clear on there. And you know if you've heated it up enough because you can actually see it starting to move when it goes all molten again. So let me just pop that back in. So I'm going to do a few layers on this. There we go, another layer. I might just stick with 2. Let's just bring that round. Don't burn yourself. Oh, see, look, I burnt myself. If there were sound effects then I should have screamed. Okay, so if you can see, that is really beautifully enamelled now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that opaque bright white ultra high in there and get some lovely little patterns going on. So I've got my opaque bright white ultra high. I've got a cocktail stick, which is what we call them over here. I think you guys call them toothpicks in America. Not sure about the rest of the world. I would have thought Australians probably call them cocktail sticks. I don't know. Do you know why they're called cocktail sticks? Because we used to have cheese and pineapple cubes on them as our little cocktails. Okay, so I'm going to heat this back up again. And while it's molten, I'm going to drop in just little bits. Right, I could see movement, so I could see that it was molten. And I'm just dropping in bits of white. You don't want to overdo it, you only want little bits. Then you can add some more heat. Look at that. Doesn't that just look so beautiful? I might throw a little bit more in there. This is where I have to say to myself, right, stop. I just feel like you do that and then you can add the heat and it spreads it about. I feel like I've overdone this one compared to, hang on, compared to this one. Look, I put more on there than I did on here, and I just got those tiny little bits, whereas this I've gone a little bit, I've been a bit overzealous, and but that's typical. But it does just look so pretty. So pretty. It's lovely. And what it does is it looks like there is layers. There's layers of clear, and then the white goes on top, over the top of all the coloured underneath. So it's just beautiful. Brilliant for jewellery pieces, brooches, necklace pieces, etc. Really, really good for that. Okay, so let me just move this off. I am going to also show you, now what did I get out? I got just some rose gold. I'm just going to do it, I just want to show you it with one colour. Let's do this shape heart. So this one is rose gold, and then get some ink on there, some lovely ink. And we get this lovely rose gold on there. Oops. I feel like, do I dare to do black? Black's a very, very strong colour. And I'm like, oh, do I? Do you know what? If it goes wrong, it's a piece of chipboard. Okay, I'm going to let that cool so I can get that. Rose gold is just, it's gorgeous. I love rose gold. I think everybody likes rose gold. Okay, so let me just go back in and do another layer. I like to get some good solid colour down. Okay. Okay, so this is my second layer. Let's just move that round. And then I'm going to come in again with my clear. So what you want to do, when a piece is longer or bigger, whatever, or wider. You want to heat from one end, get down to the other end, and then go backwards and forwards so you're dispersing that heat quite evenly. Otherwise, if you do it just at the top, by the time you get to the bottom, the top part has cooled down again and it won't take the powder. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking, well, let's get rid of that. Let's just use that. I've got some silver ultra high as well. Got a bit of white stuck in there as well. So I'm working in my studio, which is at the end of my garden, and I have tables in here because I teach classes, and the tables sit 12 people. But I am in the tiniest little gap you can imagine. I've sort of squashed myself in and surrounded myself with stuff. I'm like, why do we do that? I've got all this area. It's crazy. Okay, so do I want to be brave and try the Ebony Ultra High? Let's stick my little cocktail stick in there. So I'm going to put my lid on this a minute. I might bring in some ebony. Oh, shall I go ebony and silver or ebony and white? Oh, I wish I was on a live, because then you could be saying to me, try ebony and silver. Excuse me. Let me try. Oh, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Do you know what? First of all, no, because I feel like I want to do it in one go. Oh, look, I've got white out. Let's do ebony and white. Tiny bits of the ebony because it's really, really strong. Then again, so is the white. Can always add more. Oh, love that. Oh, okay. I'm really glad I went with the ebony and white. Let me just pick this up. Still a little bit molten. Oh, let's just get rid of that bit. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely stunning. And this technique with the cocktail stick, the guy who owns the company, Richard, his sister, Sally, she makes the most amazing cakes. And she came into head office one day and she was like, we was playing around with some new bits. And then she just come up with this. She said, like, she does this in her cakes. And and it was just like, oh my goodness, just amazing. I'm really, really chuffed with that. That looks beautiful. I mean, look, just so gorgeous. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that a minute. So another little thing I want to show you is that, you know, I said I've been using the what is it? These ones, the Tim Holtz words. Let me see what I've already got. I've got to focus on the good cut out. Or have I got to love you? No, I've got to focus on the good. So I want a piece of card. Is that going to be? Oh, that's going to be enough. Okay, piece of card. I'm going to take my, let me just move all this out the way. And I've got my mini brayer. This is how I like to apply ink to a solid panel. Rather than pushing into it, I don't like to do that. I've been using a brayer for quite some time now, and I just find it so much better. Just get that little... Does help if your brayer's clean, obviously. Lots and lots of lovely ink on there. Don't feel that you have to use a brayer. You don't have to. And I'm going to take a little bit of ebony. Not too much, again, because it's quite powerful. Shake off any excess. Just throw in a little bit of the white as well. Again, shake off any excess. Also, I've got my little iron, so I'm just going to switch that on to 130. So that's my little mini travel iron. A lot of people asked me in the last video where I got it from. I have had it absolutely years. I'll put some links on there to ones on Amazon, etc. They're just, as long as you don't use steam with it, you'll be fine. But just a mini travel iron, that's all it is. Nothing fancy. Okay, so I'm just doing little mounds of powder. What else could I put in there? Oh, I want to show you this as well. I'll show you this later. Let's throw a bit of pink in there. Pink robin. Okay. Now, you can see bits of mist, and that's fine, because I'm going to put the paper over it, and then I'm going to iron. So we're going to be pushing down into it. So this has reached temperature. That's why it's nice having a little mini iron. It heats up really quick. So push down nice and firm. Push right into it. And then you can start moving it around. I might have gone a bit over the top with that pink. Or you know what I could do though? If this is too much, I'll see what it's like. If it's too much, I could do that technique where I put the white over the top. Let's just have a little look-see. I'll spread that out. So use the iron to spread the powders. Now this is all going to get stuck to the paper, so I should have done it directly onto my mat, but that's fine. So I'm just going to turn the iron off again now, so I know it's switched off. Just want that to cool down. I'm gonna ebony in there. Put my lids on. Let's cool down. Once that's cooled, lovely, we can just go in and lift this. I've ruined my paper underneath, but it was a piece that I was using before. I can just cut all this off. So I would suggest, if you've done it, do it on your non-stick mat. Non-stick being the operative word. Okay. Right, let's just trim those bits off. It's fine. Only because I'm going to apply a bit more heat to it. Look, I've got a complete bit there I've missed, but that's fine. So this is shining it up, which, I mean, you can leave it matte. Matte looks lovely as well. I'm just used to things being shiny with embossing powder. So let me just have a look how that's going to look. Oh, see, that looks beautiful. Look at that. It just looks so cool. I love it when you look at things and think, how was that achieved? That is just... that's stunning. Absolutely stunning. Okay, I'll finish that off a little bit later. I'll make these into really, really simple cards. So I emboss on so many things. Basically, I'll emboss on anything that isn't going to melt. Buttons are fantastic. You can use heat resist acetate. As long as everything's heat resist, then you're going to be absolutely fine. But buttons are great. Now, I'm going to try, I've never done 101 on it. I usually do this just in a single colour or a metallic or something and leave as. But this one, 101, this is ebony and white ultra highs. And oh, it's just gorgeous. So we'll see what it looks like. So this one I'm pushing right into my pad. I want to get lots and lots of ink on there. And then I've done it again. I poured it in the lid. I don't know why. And then we'll do that. Actually, if I, oops. Find the hole, and I'll just place that there a minute, and then I can pick this back up. Honestly, I get all bits stuck everywhere. I love 101. Okay, so keeping my cocktail stick in there because that's going to hold it in position for me. I am going to see just blend into each other. Right, I need to pick it up again. Come up to that camera. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, do you know what though? But I love using buttons to make snowmen. So get 3 different sizes. And you could just make some really funky snowmen, or even just use like the sparkling snow. You could do opaque bright white over it and then sparkling snow over the top. And I wish I could go through every colour that WOW does, but there's, I think we're up to over 200 colours now, colours and styles, etc. that is just gorgeous. And you know, I've never ever tried washing. Not I have tried washing, sorry. I mustn't pause. I've never tried washing a button that's got embossing powder on, and I think that's probably because I do card making, scrapbooking, etc., and that's what I use them on. But I'm just wondering if it went onto clothing, if you could wash it. A hand wash, definitely, but I'm wondering if it would take machine wash. Possibly. I mean, because you can emboss onto fabric, but fabric we say don't wash. Hand wash, yes, but not machine wash. But I think a button might be a wee bit different. What do you think? I'll have to give it a try, but you'll have to wait till I've got time to do some washing. So, okay, so that was just really quick and simple. Just a little bit of enamelling. Let's just throw these bits back on there. Oh, I just love that. And then that, and then that, and this beautiful butterfly. So just some quick, simple, like layering, enamelling. I don't know whether to call this layering or enamelling. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, just quick, simple little ways to use your embossing powders and play with them and get different effects. Okay, so thanks ever so much for watching. I'd love it if you subscribed. I will put all the links down below of where I can find all this stuff for you. And there was something else I was going to say and I've totally forgotten now. No, it's gone. Have a lovely day, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye.